They're going to take it, play action. They're going to throw it down the middle. They have Johnny Marquez open. He's at the 40 of Canyon. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. Johnny Marquez will score. What an answer for the Dumas Demons.
A one-play answer, no less.
He's back to pass. He's looking downfield. Now he throws it down the middle. Dumas is there with an interception. And that's Johnny Marquez with the ball coming back toward the Dumas sideline. That may be, is it Johnny?
Yes.
All right, and he's at the 20, and he finally gets thrown out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Back to pass is Mills. He throws it across the middle. Has a receiver open. It's going to be caught. Back to pass is Mills. They throw it back to Escarcega. He on a screen play. I think he's in for the score. Yes. Touchdown, Dumas Demons. Back to pass. He's looking deep downfield. He's throwing it deep downfield. Has a receiver open. It's going to be caught into Canyon territory. Here comes a man in motion back to the left, but they're going to hand it to Eduardo. He has a big opening. He's in for the score. Touchdown, Dumas Demons, Eduardo Hernandez. He's back to pass. Here comes a blitz. He steps up into the pocket, and now he throws it down the middle looking for Emino Marquez. He has it. He has it on the 1-yard line.
I think it's touchdown.
Touchdown, Dumas Demons. Here comes a receiver back to the right. Colton takes it, rolls to the right, throws it. It's going to be Coley on the catch. Second down and 1. Back to pass is Colton. He throws it over to the Canyon sideline. It's caught, thrown out of bounds. Saying there's 2 seconds on the clock. This will be the last play of the game.
O-line, you got to block them out.
39-yard field goal. Here we go. Zamarippa ready to go. There's the snap. The kick's on the way, and the kick is... It's good!
We beat him, baby!
Yes,
Let's go!
Yes,
Send them home! Let's go!
That's just like what they won last year.
That's exactly like it.
Oh, yeah.
What a senior night in Demon Stadium.
Back to pass is Mills. He's going to throw it down the middle. Looking for Emino. He grabs it. What a catch. Wow. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. 20. Touchdown. Dumas Demons. 85-yard pass and catch. There's the snap. Lopez is going to roll left. He's going to throw it down the middle. And it's going to be picked off. Emino Marquez. Back to pass is Mills. He's going to step up, throw it deep down the middle, looking for something, and it's caught! Touchdown, Dumas Demons! Mills is going to take it back to pass, look left, steps up into the pocket. He has a running room. He only has 1 man to beat, and he is going to be down, I believe, at the 1-yard line. To the right, he's back to pass, and they're going mano, Johnny Gutierrez, and I think he has it!
Incredible.
Touchdown,
Yes.
Johnny Gutierrez.
What a catch. He was double teamed.
Back to pass is Colton Mills. He escapes the rush. Now he throws it downfield. It's going to be caught. And that's going to be Coley. And he's in for the score. Touchdown, Dumas Demons.
You're watching Dumas ISD TV.
Welcome to week 11 of the Coaches Show. As we get ready for playoff game 1, I'm Zane Powers, joined by head coach of the Dumas Demons, Aaron Dunnam.
Hey, Zane. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Here we are in the playoffs, Coach. And first off, I want to congratulate you guys. 9 straight playoff appearances. That's a school record.
It's always fun time of the season. You know, when we start a football season, always one of our goals is to make the playoffs. And so here we are. We're excited about it. Maybe not quite entering where we thought we were, but the goal is to get into the playoffs, and anything can happen at that time.
Well, here we are. Let's break down last week's regular season finale in Hereford. Demons fall short 45-42.
Yeah, it was a game very similar to the one the week before.
Yeah,
just unfortunately, we wound up on the other end of it this week, and so a lot of credit to Hereford. I thought they did a really good job. They've got a super talented quarterback that really did a great job. You know, they just sort of defensively kept us on our heels all night long. We struggled to get off the field on third down, and just really just kept us off balance and on our heels. Offensively, again, just a really outstanding performance. That's 3 games in a row now here where we've just we've sort of turned the corner offensively and just playing with a lot of confidence right now. With our quarterback and just across the board. I think every position right now offensively we're playing really well. And I think you can see that by obviously the amount of points that we're putting on board. You take away the Randall game where we scored 13 points. You even put that in there. We're right at scoring 39 points a game. Yeah. Throughout the district race, and so really excited about where we are offensively and really the explosion that we've had here lately.
Seem to be hitting on all cylinders,
without a doubt.
It was, like you said, a back and forth battle. It was so reminiscent of the Canyon game. Even the exact same score. Neither team led by more than a possession all throughout the game, and as it seemed like somebody might get some momentum and might turn the corner, the other team would come back and score and either tie it up or get a stop. It was a wild game. It
was, and I think the biggest thing to me as I look at it, the difference in the ball game is just the ability the inability for us defensively is to get off the field on third down. We had opportunities. That happened in the Canyon game. It was a back and forth game, but at very, very important times in the game, we got stops defensively and got it back to the offense. That just never came through for us defensively this week, against Hereford, and eventually, is a result of a 3-point loss.
Had some calls go against us at tough times. Those are tough to overcome as well.
We did. We had on both sides of the football. We had a few drives. That were killed for holding penalties there on offense, and they're on our last drive late. We thought we threw a really good pass over there on their sidelines, of which appeared to be a completed pass that was called out of bounds. That was tough, and then we finally got our stop. Defensively was fixing to make it a 4th and I want to say about 11 yards, somewhere around in there, and some very, very unfortunate personal fouls and penalties over there that allowed them to keep the drive alive. They go down and kick the game-winning field goal.
Colton Mills, just a really stellar night again for the freshman quarterback. 19 of 30 passing. He had 364 yards. 5 touchdown passes and 6 total touchdowns. He also ran in for 1.
He was a part of every touchdown that was scored that night, and so really good job by him. And that's starting to be. We're starting to talk about it every week. I think he's playing really well right now. I think our offensive staff has done a good job of making game plans and working around our kids' strengths. Something that that we're pretty explosive right now offensively, and just for a freshman, I think he's somewhere around 1,800 yards passing, and that's 6.5, 7.5 games. That's not he didn't start from the get go, and so really like where he's at right now. I just think I think the guys around him are really confident in the job that he's doing. That's pretty special for a freshman quarterback.
In being a good quarterback, it takes another side too. 3 sides really. Your offensive line,
sure,
which I feel like in these past 3 games has really also played well. You've made some changes there, I think, during the bye week, and those changes have really started to pay some dividends.
Yeah, I think we all understand that nobody's having these type of numbers without an offensive line that's doing their job. Colton can sit back there and throw the football because he doesn't have guys flying at him. Our offensive line's doing a great job of pass blocking and picking up blitzes that are coming at us and allowing him to sit back there comfortably and read the defenses. I think that is the key right now. And then, we're not just our ability to be able to throw the ball and run the ball. Offensive line's doing a great job of opening up holes. I think we're extremely balanced right now, run pass, and whenever we can do that, we see a lot of success.
The other part to his passing success has been wide receivers, and there were a few passes that come to mind on Friday night, but Colton has done an incredible job, especially of throwing the deep pass into a small window that only his guys can catch. And then his guys have come up with some unbelievable catches on the back end of those things. Johnny Gutierrez made a catch that was for a touchdown. That was on our angle of seeing it, it looked like, man, that was a really good catch. I saw another angle of him catching that ball. The pass was thrown in a small window, but he went up and got it.
Sure. Yeah, I just think we've got kids playing with a lot of confidence right now. And you have to be able to make those type of plays. I look at the Johnny Gutierrez play that was really, really good throw and a really good catch. And then, the Jacob Signs down there in the end zone where their two players collided. The window was so small that they were there colliding. And so we come down with the touchdown. Just guys just really making plays right now. And, guys that are, not too concerned, about who is getting the ball. Just they're prepared and ready when their number's called, and they're really doing a great job of that.
In saying that, you had 8 different players catch passes on Friday night, and 5 different guys catch touchdown passes.
Sure, that's who we are. That's what this offense is about. I don't think you can target, or I don't think the defense can concentrate on one guy. You talk about all those receivers, catching the football. We've got running backs that catch the ball out of the backfield too really well, and did that from time to time the other night. And so it's definitely an offensive scheme and a system that our kids believe in, and one where I think that's a pretty special deal too. Where you've got a quarterback that feels comfortable throwing the ball anywhere. He's not looking for one guy. No. He's really looking for the scheme and where the ball's supposed to be delivered off of his reads. And whoever's there, those guys are executing and making catches.
Well, I don't. There's no way we could go through and talk about the rest of the game without talking about Emmanuel Marquez. Sure. We knew going into this season this guy's a special player, but he has made an impact not just on the defensive side of the ball where we saw him last year play the majority of his snaps. He's made a big impact on offense and on special teams. He only had one catch, but it was maybe the catch of the year. He reaches out with one hand to tip it to himself, and then as soon as he catches it, he goes into burner mode, and whoever the corner was that was covering, he ends up beating him to the end zone by about 7 yards.
Sure. Well, I mean, we all know that Emmyl's a kid that's super talented. He was a newcomer of the year last year. We've had to move him positions. He was a corner. We've had to move him to safety. But I think throughout the game, you can see him play all those positions. Even though he's still a corner, there's at times where or even though he's a safety right now, there's at times where he lines up at a corner. And so he's just got to be able to adjust and monitor and move around however we use him on defense. And then a guy that that's playing really well on offense as well right now. You talk about the catch that he made. He's a kid that ran in track and ran on the relay team that made it to state last year, and so he's got really good foot speed, and is doing a great job. Just wherever we put him, 61 kickoff return yards. Yeah. We've talked about that every single week. And I think that's also working into our offensive success right now. Our offense always starts with the football in very, very good field position. Yeah. I just remember over and over and over the other night, they started to kick it out of bounds.
Yeah, they kicked it out of bounds.
And I'm never the type of guy that ever really wants to give it back to them and let them kick it again. Yeah. But I was to the point the other night that it didn't matter. I was going to say kick it again, kick it again, kick it again, because I felt really comfortable about the way we've executed on that and how we were going to set our offense up in really, really good field position.
He also had 2 interceptions on defense, and in Friday night's game, those were huge at the times they came.
Game-changing plays because we were not getting off the field defensively, sure. and if it wasn't for those big plays, in order to give it back to our offense, I mean, you might have seen that game really shift another way, and instead of staying, with always within a one score or one possession, game. Those interceptions were huge. Just an opportunity to give the ball back to our offense, and our offense, went and execued every time that we give it back to them.
Also, 9 tackles to go with those 2 interceptions.
He did. A kid that's just flying around, doing a really good job. Those are just really, really good numbers on everywhere that he's at, whether it be on special teams, whether it be on offense and defense. And you've seen more of that from us this year. I mean, we're not as deep as we've been. We've in the past we've been able to maybe be able to have an offensive unit, a defensive unit. We're just not there right now. And we've got to keep our best players, the ones that are making plays. We've got to try to find ways to get them the football. And I think we're doing that right now when we talk about Emmanuel and Johnny Marquez.
He's one of these guys too that we mentioned this earlier in the season. he's an underclassman, but he was named a team captain by his teammates.
He was, and I think that that speaks volumes of what our kids think about it. Most of the time, those are always seniors.
Yeah.
But there really is no rite of passage when it comes to leadership. We're
right.
looking for anybody that's willing, whether it be a freshman, whether that's willing to stand up, and push the values of this football team and lead our kids, and he does a really good job of doing that.
Well, Coach, let's turn our attention now to a real familiar opponent in the playoffs. It's a team that you have played more than any other since you've been head coach in the playoffs. And that's the Decatur Eagles.
I don't know what to think about that. That's a tough first round matchup. Decatur has been a very storied program, a program that's played really, really good ball, and it's no different this year. I think we currently, lead the series 2-1. Many different ways that we've played each other. At times we've come out the number 1 seed and played them, and they've beat us. At times they've come out the number 1 seed and we were the number 4 seed and we beat them. I remember the Fog Bowl of where we were both undefeated, both highly ranked. I think they were actually picked to win the region.
Yeah.
And that's a really good ball game that sticks in a lot of our memories here. And a lot of it just looks a little bit different this year as well. They've went through a coaching change. The coach that came from College Station who won a state championship there at College Station is there, and brought with him some assistant coaches and some really good football players as well that have come along with him. So a really, really tough first round matchup, but one that we've embraced, one that we're excited about, and one that we're looking forward to.
It's an interesting series if you look at it. Let's just kind of take a walk back down memory road. Your first season, we win the district championship and face Decatur in the first round. Decatur was a team at that point that was getting healthy at the right time. They had guys that had been injured, and all of a sudden when they get to the playoffs, they were healthy. I think that they entered the playoffs 4-6.
I believe that,
which is what our record is right now. They were the 4th place team. We played them at Southwestern Oklahoma State University in Weatherford. They win the game 48-21.
Just came out and they were. Just the way that they played the game. Had a really talented quarterback, the coach's son who went on to play at Tulsa. And they just came out and just really from the get-go jumped on us and never stopped. And so that was a team that was really, getting healthy at the right time. They had been through some injuries. I think that football team goes on and plays 4 rounds deep after that. And so I use that team. I use that team when I'm talking about our current football team right now. Here we are setting 4-6 as well. All it creates is a spark to start a fire. And so I believe that we still have the ability to do that. And I talk about that moment all the time when I talked about our kids about catching fire because that team really did that.
Yeah, they did. And Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but also in the scheme of all that happened against Decatur, it also kind of changed the way that we approach things defensively a little bit.
It did. We were a big time heavy zone football team. And they were a big RPO style team. They were really doing a great job of riding it in there and sucking our outside linebackers down and then running complementary routes off of that, replacing our outside linebackers with receivers. And it was just we jumped in and out of different types of coverages. And that game just really changed the way we looked. After that game, we went into the offseason as coaches always do, and we just knew that we had to get better at that. We had to possibly play more man coverage, where we would close those windows up. And I think that was a big. Ever since we did that, I think we've played those style of offenses a lot better. And it was a reason, that we went against them later on in the next couple of matchups.
Well, let's talk about that. The next season, as you said, both teams come into the regional quarterfinal round undefeated. It was a massive matchup. I can still remember pulling up to the stadium and going, "Where is the stadium?" In the strangest way that it could. A cloud just descended on top of the field and on top of the stadium, where it was extremely foggy. I looked at some pictures that have come up in memories of that weekend. of people that have taken pictures on the field on one side where you couldn't see the stands on the opposite side. It was a wild game, again, a back and forth game. Dumas got an interception late from Caleb Suggs. Set us up for a game-winning field goal. Olliart puts it through. Dumas wins 38-35.
Wild football game, one that I think will be talked about for a long time here by the Dumas Demons. It was just two really, really good football teams facing each other. And it was, the fog that came in, that video is like non-existent because we tried to watch it when it was over. And you can't even see it. You can't even tell the plays that we're running. It was really tough within the game, because we signal everything and our receivers look from the other side. Our receivers were having to come all the way over to our hash to even see us signal the plays. You couldn't see the opposite sideline. You couldn't see people sitting in the stands. And it was a wild game, and a game that also, just back and forth, went different times, and they would score, and our offense would just respond. Just a really, really good football game, and then, one that, when we kicked the winning field goal, just a really, really special time, and just a great effort by our kids.
There's a picture of Spencer Williams, to me, that defines what Dumas Demon football is in that game. Decatur had a really good linebacking core. Big guys, and there's a picture of Spencer Williams just completely running over one of their linebackers that I think it might still be in the hallway there where the players come in and out.
Spencer was definitely a quarterback that was not looking to get out of bounds, really, caused us a little bit of problems his senior year.
Sure.
We run a lot with him, and one opportunity we had here, I think it was a home game where he just goes looking for people, and he had an opportunity to get down, and he actually breaks his hand in that game, but his toughness, and he never missed a game because of that, but definitely, he was definitely a very, very strong, powerful runner for us, and a quarterback that he's the winningest quarterback in Dumas history right now.
Yeah. Well, in 2021, again, extremely memorable game. This was first-round game in Childress. We trailed 17-0 to begin the game, ended up winning that game, outscoring Decatur the rest of the way, 45-7, winning at 45-24.
They came out really hot, playing really fast. I think they threw the football on us a few times and just really, that run pass RPO type of stuff, and just hit some holes on us and ran away from us in the secondary a little bit. We're a little shell-shocked at that moment. We even thought as coach staff, like, wow, can we run with these guys? Because they play the game fast. No different than their football team right now. They play extremely fast. But always just a group of guys that are always understanding the game plan. There's never panic. Our kids don't hit the panic button. We just made adjustments. Offense continued to really start answering. I think in that ball game we'd go up at halftime. Yeah. I think maybe by 4 points or something right there at half. And just never looked back. Our kids really just started playing physical style football. And again, just a really, really good win. I think 45-24. Yeah. In another, fashion of Decatur Dumas football.
Well, the fourth installment coming up this week in the fourth different venue. I thought that was it
is cool.
It's so unique with this series. So first game was played in Oklahoma. You look at the second game at Plains Capital at Lowry Field, which was special. And then we played in Childress, and now we're going to play in Snyder, which is a new place for us to go to.
This is new. I've never played in Snyder. I do think they've got a really, really neat setup. Snyder takes a lot of pride in their district does, and their facilities. I think they've got a really sharp facility. I know that Springtown. We have a lot of the other people that have matched up with Springtown early in the first round have almost always played there at Snyder. I think Hereford's played there multiple times. And Springtown's played there, and so excited about it. I think it's going to be a great venue and a great opportunity for our kids to get out Texas high school playoffs. Here it is,
man. So, what are you looking for out of the 2023 version of these Decatur Eagles?
They're talented. They've got when you look at their record, they've played some really good people and have been in every one of those ball games. They at one point 56-55 ball game versus Stephenville. Stephenville, just beat the 4A Division II and 4A Division I state champion China Spring. So they've got a really talented group. They pretty run heavy. Got a talented tailback. I think he's got around 40 Division I offers from almost every Power 5 program and conference there is. I think he's committed to TCU and he does a really good job. He's just a very powerful back that does a great job of getting in and out of traffic and finding his place. And so talented, really talented. Play hard on both sides of the football. I think the biggest thing I see is just have the speed that they play at.
Sure.
And we're going to have to be prepared for that. I mean, we're going to have to. He's good enough. If he's good enough to have offers from Notre Dame and Florida State and TCU and USC, he's talented, and so we're going to have to do a really good job of getting as many guys to the football as we can. We really don't want to see him in one-on-one battles. We want to see him versus 4, 5, 6, 7 demons that are really pursuing the football.
I think when I think about Decatur. I think of a team, at least in their play style, that mimics us.
It does.
They play hard.
They do.
They're going to look like us size wise, and I think for us too, and I think our kids understand this as well. Is our kids have a ton of respect playing a Decatur team as well.
We do have a ton of respect, and it's really neat too. Just how much we've seen each other, not in real football. Like we've seen each other multiple times in 7-on-7.
Yeah.
We almost play them almost every single year. And so we saw them this last summer. We played them in 7-on-7. And again, just an absolute battle. I mean, we were up at one point in it. They crawled back in, and I think they end up beating us by 1 touchdown in a 7-on-7 battle. But just always, a group of kids that I think respect one another. We respect their program, they respect ours, and just if you want to watch 22 kids take the field and play extremely hard, this is going to be a good football game to come watch.
Defensive side of the ball, what's going to be key for Dumas tonight as they face this Decatur offense?
I think we're going to have to be multiple. I do. I think we're going to have to be able to establish the run game. I think if we sit and just believe, we've been different this year. We've been different. I mean, from game to game, we're different as well. And so there are games, where we really come out and we throw the football. And we talked about last week. I mean, 360 passing yards. Yeah. But I still think we're going to have to be able to establish a run game. I think we're going to have to do a really good job of making each one of our possessions count. I think there's a Decatur football team that's going to. I mean, they've proven to score their points offensively. We've proven to do the same as of late, and so I think we're going to have to take advantage of every opportunity. Ball security is the key. I don't think this is a game where we can turn the football over and give them extra opportunities. But then I think just settle into the game and take what they give us.
Sure.
I really have been extremely proud of how Colton and our coaching staff of calling the plays that allow him to do that. But I think he's done a really good job of running our offense, taking what offense gives. I think early you saw Colton really want. I mean, you go to the Randall game, really want to take the deep ball, and all the time. That's not what you see anymore. He takes what's given to him. He dumps it off to the running back. He takes the small 5-yard curl route, and then he's also taking the deep ball. And so it's just I think we're gonna have to continue to do that. I mean, take what they give us and be able to execute and move the football.
You talked about on Decatur's offensive side of the ball, their running back. What else are the Demons going to have to look at defensively to stop Decatur's offense? That's not all they have. They have another running back, number 8, that's a really good football player. They've got, the running back's brother is also a receiver, starts at corner, plays safety. Wow. Number 14, really talented football player as well. That's a really good receiver. They've got a tall number receiver, number 17, that is, he's 6'4".
that we've seen. We played against him a couple of years ago, and I think he's a senior this year that he's been hurt here as of late, but really was producing huge numbers early in the season. And so they've got a bunch of different people that they're going to spread the football around. We can't just focus on one guy. They've got a quarterback that's really running their offense really well right now, has the ability to throw the football down the field. He's big. He's big as well, 200, 205. They run the ball with him. So there's a lot of different weapons they have, and we're going to have to do a really good job of just being able to defend them all.
Well, we know that as it gets into playoff time, it's starting to become kind of playoff weather.
It is. It is.
Do you think in tonight's game that weather could play a factor?
Well, I mean, I do. I mean, anytime you get playoff games a little further, up here north, when you're talking about midway point and you're looking at us in Decatur, I mean, midway point's still a long ways.
It is.
It really isn't when you look at it. There's just only X amount of venues.
Yeah.
It's not real far when you talk about Childress, but that venue was taken. And then you start looking at flipping home and home for Vernon versus Lubbock. And then you look at maybe even a true neutral, which is 4.5 hours out in West Texas. We finally decided on Snyder, but it is. I mean, I know there is some weather supposed to be in the forecast. There's supposed to be a possibility of rain and drizzle throughout the evening. There's a possibility of kickoff of it being 45 degrees, maybe a wind chill in the 30s. And so that's definitely not unfamiliar to us. I mean, we play in that. We haven't so much this year.
No.
And this year has been a really, really warm football season.
Sure.
But it's always, I mean, anytime that you talk about that, I mean, there's definitely going to be some outside factors. And I'm looking forward to it, whatever it is. I mean, if it's 80 and sun's shining, or if it's 20 degrees and raining, I'm excited about the opportunity.
It's exciting. Playoffs are here.
It is.
And I'm happy that we're getting to play a team like Decatur.
Sure.
They're familiar, and it's just going to be smash mouth.
It is.
A lot of fun football.
It is. It really is.
Well, Coach, let's talk about kind of how things are setting up for us. We are the 4th seed out of District 3 4A. Decatur is the top seed out of District 4 4A. And if you kind of look at the bracket, the way that every little smaller bracket set up, you can look at region-wise, and in each region there's 4 districts, 4 teams out of each district. And so the way that the first and second rounds are set up is you'll have in each little bracket in that 16, there's 4 brackets and 4 teams out of each district. So Decatur would be the top seed out of our mini bracket. We're the 4th seed, and then you've got the 2nd and 3rd seeds out of District 1 and 2. The 2nd seed out of District 1 is El Paso Austin, and the 3rd seed out of District 2 is Andrews. Again, 2 teams, El Paso Austin, that we've faced them the last 2 seasons in non-district play, and Andrews, a team that we're, I would say semi-familiar with just because they played the teams in our area quite a bit. So winner of our game will play the winner of that game, El Paso, Austin, and Andrews.
Yeah, and, familiar with both of them. I mean, we've played Andrews in the playoffs here in the last, 3 to 4 years. Andrews is different. I mean, they're running a different style offense right now. They're running.
Isn't it interesting that these 2 teams have played each other?
I mean, they will. that game might maybe be over in 45 minutes. So it is. It's a good matchup, and really excited about the opportunity. You got to plan. You're planning a week ahead, so we've already talked about possibility of meeting both of those teams.
Yeah.
It does establish if we can go win this thing, it establishes a really, really good matchup for us. But between two style offense, I'm glad that that we had the opportunity to play El Paso Austin and see that type of stuff. They're a little bit. They're not all totally the same, but both coming from the same family style of offenses that they're trying to run.
I just think that's so interesting. You talk about matchups and how things happen. It's like these 2 guys are running an offense that not many people run.
No.
But they're playing each other first round of the playoffs.
Sure.
Oh, man. Well, what do you enjoy most about the playoffs?
I just really like, the opportunity. I mean, our approach to this is it's 1-game seasons now. It's 1-game seasons. And so I like the fact that throw everything in it that you got. There's no holding back anything. And so whatever you've got, whatever your kids have prepared for up to this moment, it all boils down. I mean, winner advances, loser goes home. And so one game seasons from here on out, and just the opportunity that our kids can put everything behind out. And really everything in the future gone as well. Because if not, all focus is right here in front of us on what we've got to do one play at a time to possibly win this, to win this this one game season. You win the one game season, you advance. And so that's the funnest thing about this to me.
It's different in that there's no other sub-varsity games that are going on, so there's no focus on any of that. You also, it kind of allows you to kind of incorporate some different guys, at least on the sideline during the games, that are going to get this experience, that hopefully pays off for them down the road too.
Sure. We make a 60-man roster, and that's how many we travel for the playoffs. I like the possibility that any 60 guys on that. I mean, we have one football team now, we have some freshman kids that'll be on that. We have some JV kids. We have varsity kids that are on that. And everybody has an opportunity possibly to get in the football game. And so I do like that. I like that, the one team mentality. We all pull together at this time of the season and we're all fighting for the same thing. We don't have JV kids and that experience, just that experience for these kids to come up and see, because it is. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The freshman football, JV football, and varsity football, those different levels are all done differently. I mean, how we prepare just as you climb the ladder of these levels of football, just the stakes get more, the seriousness, the focus, all those things improve. So it's really good for our kids maybe that have been on that JV or that freshman level of football to see how you prepare and just all that goes into it. With the coaching staff and kids, and just how we the attention to detail. They're really seeing that, and some of this stuff they don't even really understand. They're just like, wow. I mean, that's what we do. So it's really neat for our kids to see.
And even talk about what it's able to do as a coaching staff, because when you're playing sub-varsity games on the day before that you play your varsity game, your sub-varsity coaches are busy. They're everywhere. It's, half of them are out of town. Part of them are here coaching. How does that help in preparation when you've got everybody on deck, you got everybody focused just on one thing, and this is it this week?
I think it helps a lot. I mean, I think it's a little bit of a breath of fresh air too. For some of these guys that have been traveling. I mean, we've got coaches that travel every Thursday night and travel every Friday night. Yeah. So it stops that. It allows them to be home. It allows them to, we have pregame meals that's really special. A lot of these guys, miss out on, and so they're going to be here. They're going to be able to see this. They're going to see, how our families come together and how we get to have a pregame meal and we all eat and come together. And so that it's going to be fun.
It is. This is a fun time of the year. I want you to take another stroll back down memory lane. What's your favorite memory as a player in the playoffs?
I've got a lot of them. I mean, I played for 2 state championships in high school. My junior year, we played Granger in the state championship. We played at Shotwell Stadium. A lot has changed. Shotwell was grass at that time, but we played Granger there. I mean, if you know anything about college football, they had a guy by the name of Brandon Everidge, possibly one. I know there's been a lot of really good safeties come out of the University of Oklahoma, but he was one of them. He was fixing to enter the draft. He's actually passed away now. He drowned in the Granger River back at home. But that was a really good football game. And then the next year we go back to state again. A very, very memorable game for me. We played Tenaha. And it was a really good game. I mean, one that I believe we could have won, should have won. We lost it 13-20, but a really, really good football game. And probably one of my best memories in that, it was a 4th down play, and I carried the football, the very, very one of the final plays, to possibly get us to win the football game, and they stop us short. It was a play that I thought we got the first down, but it was a judgment call, and so I was actually interviewed after the game talking about, how did I feel on that, and obviously pretty simple. I mean, it's a judgment call, and whatever the call was, the call that we had to go with, and so some very, very memorable games as a player.
That's pretty cool. What about as a coach?
Tons of them. I've had some very, very memorable moments here, at Dumas. When I was at Abilene Cooper, we played a lot of third-round playoff games against Denton Geyer. Though I remember meeting them 3 different years in the playoffs. Really, really talented teams. We met them at Cowboy Stadium one year. We met them. We played them at Aledo one year, and then we flipped home and won the home flip and played them at Shotwell. But just really, really talented football teams there, and so those are some really fun times. I go back to here in Dumas. When we beat Hershey, got over the hump. That's always one. That'll be special to me. It's just, we had lost in the first round, hadn't get over the hump. So when we beat Hershey in the first round playoff game to really get us over the hump and let our kids understand that we belong further than the first round. And I thought that was a very, very important time in Dumas history, especially for the time that I've been here. That's one that I'm going to always remember.
Yeah, I think I remember that just kind of for you guys feeling the vindication.
Sure.
Of, like this is where we belong.
Because that's a game that could have went either way. Deep in that game, it could have went either way. And there's always thoughts as you're in the game thinking, no way, or is this going to happen? And so, thank God that it did. We got over the hump, found ways to make plays, and win that game.
Man, wow. This is the burning question, and I think this is always interesting for people who watch this to kind of know, what is it like the night before a playoff game for a coach?
A lot of emotions, a lot of stress, but at the same time, I think very calm.
Yeah.
Very, very calm. I just, I can't stand sitting and waiting, and that happens even more now. And so it's different in the playoffs because I look forward to those Thursday games because that just gives me a little adrenaline, to watch our kids perform and see us execute. And those are gone in the playoffs. And so it seems to me like even a longer wait. Thank goodness it's a Thursday game, but it's even a longer wait. And but there is a sense of calmness that does come over because you've prepared. You've done what you've needed to do. There's probably more stress, more anxiety that sets in on me, when you're playing a district ball game rather than this.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot on the line, but it is what it is. It's number 4 seeded Dumas taking on number 1 seed Decatur. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. There's really nothing else to do. You've prepared. You've got your kids ready, and you're just waiting for the next day.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and let's take a look at some of these other games that are being played. The matchups when you get to the playoffs, it just is fascinating, especially in these first few rounds because you've got teams that play up against each other that you don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
Week to week, and
Sure.
Everything's so magnified. Every single snap's magnified because it could determine who ends their season and who continues.
Sure.
So let's look at some of these teams that we've played before. El Paso Parkland going to travel and play at Lubbock Cooper. That's Thursday night game.
Sure. Lubbock Cooper, I'd definitely take them in this football game. A Lubbock Cooper team that I think they've had a few ups and downs, throughout their season. You've seen them play really, they drop a really close one to Abilene Wiley, and then they bounce back and really get after a really talented Rider football team. Yeah. And so I know I've been on the field with them. I know what they are and I know what they've got. And I think they're the better football team here.
Nice to get a home game.
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
Brownfield and Bushland going to meet in Plainview again, another Thursday night game.
I think a Brownfield football team that's done really well this season. Yeah. They went through coaching change, and I think they've really, really done a good job this season. I think they're fixing to meet a really, really good football team. We've been on the field with Bushland and seen what they can do. They're a team that's scoring 45 to 50 points a ball game. And just playing really, really well behind a senior quarterback that's just a great leader and somebody that's really has a knack for their offense and understanding what they're doing. And I'll definitely take Bushland in this one.
I think so too. This next one again, I think is a fun matchup. Two teams that we're familiar with. Perryton going to face off against Fort Stockton. They're playing at Lubbock Cooper on Friday night.
I have a lot of respect for both programs. I think both. I mean, I've only had one opportunity to face Fort Stockton. We played them in the playoffs, but a really a tough football team that I think sort of plays the game just like we do. And then I'd have the same thing to say about Perryton. Perryton is a team that has struggled from time to time this year, but got themselves into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Another tough football team that plays the game the right way. I don't know. I don't know how this one's gonna end, but I'm just gonna go with one that I'm a little bit more familiar with. I'm gonna take Perryton in this game.
I think Perryton might have something for him here. It's these first round matchups you'll see, especially in Region 1, you're taking teams that are way far out west against teams from the Panhandle area, and so all of these teams are traveling, unless they get home games, all these teams are traveling a long distance.
Sure.
I agree with you. I think Perryton might have something for him.
I do. I don't know.
All right, next one is your brother. He's going to travel back to El Paso. They're going to play El Paso Bel Air.
I'm definitely going to take Emerald High here. That's always it's a difficult task to travel out to El Paso. Total different environment for you. But I think Emerald High is definitely the better football team as you look at. I don't know a whole lot about El Paso Bel Air, but I feel good about the matchup of Emerald High versus them, and so I'll take Emerald High in this one.
Emerald High taking on the Fresh Prince out there.
That's it.
All right. Hey, well, we're not going to pick these next games. These are all Region 1, 4A D1 matchups. So, there's a possibility we could play any of these teams. The first one would be our next opponent, either El Paso, Austin, or Andrews. They play in Artesia, New Mexico.
We've talked about this one already a little bit. I'm going to vote it as the fastest game in the state of Texas in the first round of the playoffs. I think this game might be completed in about 45, 50 minutes. So,
it's an interesting – anytime that we play teams out that direction or even closer to like Decatur – midpoint spots are not in Texas. If you draw a straight line, you look at where's the midpoint. Midpoint for us in Decatur would be somewhere in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Definitely midpoint between Andrews and El Paso, Austin, somewhere out in New Mexico. That's where they're playing.
I think Artesia too, though. has a really nice stadium out there, so they're going to play in a great venue. And I think that's the most important part of it. Wherever it is. I didn't, when we played out in Oklahoma, it was a great venue. Yeah. I don't think Oklahoma had anything to do with us losing a football game. So,
is Artesia the one they have is it a different colored field? I can't remember. I know that there's one out there in Oklahoma,
or not
Oklahoma and New Mexico. Because didn't we talk about?
No. Lovington has a blue field.
Lovington, that's the one.
Lovington has a blue field. Brian Erlacher planted that one
that's
there.
Right. So. Okay. El Paso Bowie going to face off against Lubbock Estacado. This game out in Pecos.
Another, Pecos just built a brand new stadium, a really, really beautiful stadium out there, and so I'm definitely taking Lubbock Estacado. Yeah. I think they're the better team. Estacado really came back last week. I think scored again what they've been doing scored 60 points last week.
Yes,
and so I think they're on the right track right now. Definitely.
Estacado is the 2 seed out of District 2. And so you can kind of see how that District 2 set up with Brownwood being the number 1 seed, Estacado the 2 seed, Andrews the 3 seed, and Big Spring the 4 seed. So those 4 teams out of that district. It's interesting, how our region is set up because for a long time we played that district coming out of the playoffs and out of district play, and they're the closest district to us, but they're also the closest district to El Paso. So that's why they go west first.
Yes, sir.
Coming back closer to home, these next games are all with teams in our district. Wichita Falls High versus Canyon at Childress.
It's going to be a tough matchup for Wichita Falls. I think if you've seen them from time to time, they've struggled a little bit. They're down a little bit this year. a lot of different things going on out there in Wichita Falls, with them, the building of 2 new schools, and this being the last year of them, with 3 schools, and that's set up. And so it's going to be a good game. They're playing a really talented Canyon football team.
It's crazy because Wichita Falls High they're a historic Texas high school football team. They've won state championships, and they will be no more after this season.
That's really neat. I mean, it's neat. Little sad too as well.
So we're the Thursday night game in Snyder. The Friday night game is Hereford versus Springtown. This is much like us in Decatur. These 2 teams play each other almost every year in the playoffs.
Really good matchup here. I think this game could go either way. You've seen it. You actually saw. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, a higher seed Springtown go in and play a
1 seed
versus a 4 seed Hereford, and Hereford comes out of that game with a victory.
And then what do they do? Go 4 rounds
deep?
They
do. So, yes, there's been some really good matchups versus 1 and 4 seed out of these 2 districts, and I think this one will be a really good one as well. A Springtown team that I think has really caught some fire later on. They've also played a really tough schedule as you look at it. A Hereford team that's playing with a lot of confidence as well. Much improved. Here they're setting 7-3. It's going to be a really good ball game.
It is going to be really good. Friday night in Snyder. The Canyon's playing Thursday night against Wichita Falls High in Childress. The Friday night game is Burke Burnett and Randall. Again, 2 teams out of these districts, and Randall is the 2nd seed. They'll play the 3rd seed, Burke Burnett.
And I'm not sure on this one, by the tiebreaker and how everything worked out in that other district. Burke Burnett actually lost their last game to Mineral Wells. They had to lose it by 15 or more to fall out. They don't lose it by 15, but they're still in. They're the number 4 seed and or the
3 seed.
3 seed. And so I think it's going to be I'm not for sure. I think Randall's coming off of probably a much needed open week, their very last week of the season. I think Randall will be really excited about this football game again. I think it'll be a tough football game for Burke Burnett.
Yes, it'll be fun matchups. It's always neat to kind of look down the line and see what all's going on. Coach, we are here.
We are.
It's playoff time. And looking for an exciting matchup this Friday night against the Decatur Eagles.
I am too. Really excited about it. Just really, really thankful for what all y'all have done this year. And here we are into the 3rd and final season. Excited about the playoffs. Excited about our opportunity that's in front of us tonight.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
Look for you tonight against these Decatur Eagles. Again, kickoff is next. Dumas Demons taking on the Decatur Eagles. By-district round of the playoffs coming up next from Snyder.
You're watching Dumas ISD TV.